Buckeye Cast. The brotherhood, playing for the guy next to you, playing for the team.
What's up, Buckeye Nation? You're tuned in to the Buckeye Cast.
Buckeye Cast. Tradition of Ohio State, we take that serious.
These fellas were born and bred in the Buckeye State.
Buckeye Cast. The people of Ohio, we work every day to make them proud.
Visit us at thebuckeyecast.com and follow us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube at the Buckeye Cast.
Buckeye Cast.
Now here's your host, Joe Warwick.
I'm proud to be part of this group. Go Bucks!
What is up? We are back here in the doldrums of summer, dying for football. What are we, like 83, 82 days away, something like that? I don't know, Shawn. So I got Henry.
I'm not in the doldrums.
You're not in the doldrums?
Well, yeah. No, wait, my summer's just getting ready, man.
Yeah, well, down here in Florida, it's already hot as balls. Speaking of balls, they're sticking all over the place.
Yikes.
Coming to you without air conditioning tonight. Very excited about that. I'll be jumping in a bathtub of ice in a minute. Anyway, how'd you like the new intro? Shawn, you probably didn't hear it, but maybe you will someday. I had to switch out some of the old Urban Meyer quotes for the Ryan Day quotes.
Oh.
Spice it up a little bit, so hope everybody enjoyed that. Check it out.
I'm going to enjoy it.
I know you will. Check it out. We have launched the TBC supply store. The Buckeye Cast supply store is now open for business. Shawn, have you visited the store?
I actually have visited the store. There's some sweet swag in the store.
What's your favorite shirt? Would it be the...
Oh, put me on the spot like that.
The Buckeye Strength?
It might be Rabbit.
What about the beer can cooler?
I like that.
What about the Silver Bullets shirt? You had to like that one.
No, I do like the Silver Bullets shirt. I like that. I like that hat, that black trucker hat, all black.
Yeah.
Yeah, is that a snapback? It's got to be. I'm pretty sure it is.
Yeah,
it's adjustable, right?
Yeah, it's adjustable. So yeah, folks, I would definitely check out. We have hats, shirts. These are all original designs by myself. We actually just sold a TBC T-shirt this morning. We got the Buckeye Cast logo on everything. We've got the Silver Bullets. We've got hats, the beer can holders. Those should be really popular this time of year, I think. We've got new designs every day. Check out the Woody hat or the Woody shirt sometime. I think that's a good one. It's got one of his famous quotes in there. Like I said, new designs all the time. And if you would like to buy a shirt or whatever, I can give you 20% off. How would you like that, Shawn?
I'd love that.
Would you love that? All you have to do is when you...
How do I go about getting that?
Very simple. When you check out, just enter the promo code TBCSS20, the number 20, TBCSS20. At your checkout, save 20%, bam, done.
What if I put TBCSS40? Will I get 40%?
Unfortunately, no.
Oh.
But I'll let you know if that ever happens. Not like
I'm going to try that.
Try them all.
I'm going to try that shit.
69, 79, 40, whatever. So anyways, check it out, folks.
Check it out, people. If you want people to call and be like, what is that? What's that shirt? What's that? Start a conversation.
Exactly.
Where's the Buckeye Nation?
So anyways, you know you can find it at thebuckeyecast.com, thebuckeyecast.com. I think we've got over 60 products already. We're going to jump into the show today. This is kind of a potpourri summer type show. Shawn, did you hear that Urban Meyer is opening a restaurant in Dublin?
I actually did hear that. Well, I heard that, read about it. Everyone's excited. Placed, host the Urban and Shelley Foundation galas and stuff and whatnot. But is Urban really going to have anything to do with this other than getting his 20% on the side and free access to the shit?
Well, I think he'll be filling in when somebody calls in sick in the kitchen, and if the bar gets slammed with drink requests, he'll be helping out behind the bar. He'll be slinging some beers. I think. I mean, that's how I took it. You think of any?
I mean, I love it, and I love that. I love that I read that the one party room is 7-0 room. I love it. I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
So I think it will absolutely be a success for as long as I can imagine. Unless he gets back into coaching and goes coaches some other school.
In that case, it will be burnt to the ground.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
And rightly so.
Oh,
I'm not
yeah.
encouraging it, but I don't not condone it.
Right. Yeah. So, yeah, maybe the menu will consist of some Wolverine tail, deep fried in a nice
Remoulade.
breadcrumb, and, smothered and covered, and maybe some badger nails or something. I don't know. We could go on with menu ideas for him. I'm sure he's had plenty of suggestions. But anyway, we're going to get into some recruiting updates. We had a few little recruiting nuggets happen over the last few weeks, and we're going to jump into some Ryan Day press conference highlights. Pulled out a few little nugs from there they thought might be interesting, and we'll see what else we have time for. But anyways, let's jump into this recruiting update. This is probably the most exciting thing this time of year, and as we all know, 5-star wide receiver Julian Fleming picked Ohio State over Penn State a couple weeks ago. This was huge. Brian Hartline is just crushing it on the trail, Shawn.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, but of course he is. How do you not want to play for him? He's just fresh out of the league. He's high energy, high character. Yeah. Of course they're flocking to him. I mean, it's not just him. We're the Gee Scotts and the Jameson Williams, all these guys. It's loaded. Jackson, Smith, and Njiba.
Yeah, let's say it together. Everybody.
They're all studs.
Yep.
I mean, that room is nice.
Yep.
Hats off Brian Hartline.
And we're looking at probably bringing in...
overachieving mofo, man.
Right. We're probably going to bring in another receiver, more like a slot, smaller receiver, to complement the big guys that we got coming in, like you said, with Gee Scott and Smith and Jigba and now Julian Fleming. You need
they all look like absolute beasts.
I know, man. They look like fucking Michael Irvin out there, just dominating. You see some of these videos of Fleming and Gee Scott? Jesus.
Yeah. I know. I want. Well, the one I saw of the last one I saw of Gee Scott, that's one of these like big deals, isn't it? Or is that against Chomps? I mean,
those are camps. I mean, it's supposed to be the best of the best, or the best of that area. If he's attending, I would think the corners have to be decent. I love it when he catches a touchdown over a corner, and the guy falls down and he helps him up. He tries to help him up. I just burnt your fucking ass. Here, let me help you get up. That's the worst. But anyways,
but look at these. I mean, not only are they, they're all big dudes.
Yeah,
and they're fast too.
Right.
They're all 6'1".
At least, yeah, and that's why you got to bring in somebody, to complement them that can play in the slot, a little smaller guy.
That's Olave with them Burns.
Yeah. So I thought it was interesting. We knew that Clemson and Penn State were in on him, and he explained how kind of his roller coaster ride went after he committed. He said that Penn State was in the lead initially, and then all of a sudden Clemson took the lead, and then Ohio State took the lead at the end, obviously, and kept it. But he cited with Penn State the coaching instabilities within the staff and the way they're not using their playmakers enough, in his opinion. So I thought that was very interesting because Ohio State's had some pretty big coaching instability for the last year, right? I mean, big time.
I haven't noticed any.
Oh, you didn't hear about that? So interesting how he chose
group, right?
Yeah, how he chose that.
Billy Davis on linebackers, right?
Right, exactly. But interesting how he cited that as an issue with them, but not with Ohio State. I think that shows his confidence in the Ohio State staff.
Well, Hartline's probably been the guy recruiting for a couple years now, and Day's been there, and obviously if that's Day's offense, and again he had Haskins. Fields has a different skill set. I don't think we're going to have the same passing numbers. I think it's going to be different numbers, huge numbers, but different numbers.
Right.
But Ryan Day has a penchant to throw that football because he's got the best dudes in the country to throw it to.
Right.
And that's why they want to come. And they're going to learn from Hartline, who, all these guys are coming in to say, hey, Hartline, you did it. You aren't half the athlete I was, and you made it. So how did you get in? Teach me how to get in.
Exactly. And look at what they've done throwing the ball, and receivers they have developed just over the last 2 years. I mean, they turned KJ Hill into a guy that's going to break all-time records at Ohio State. This year, he's going to break Chris Carter's all-time receptions record.
Yeah.
Not to mention,
God willing.
Not to mention getting Terry McLaurin drafted in the 3rd round, Johnny Dixon. I mean, geez. So yeah, Hartline's on fire. And,
you're gonna have Matt come out, KJ Hill come out. You're gonna have 3 more receivers drafted next year.
Right. Fleming is the highest rated commit Ohio State has taken in since Terrell Pryor, if you go by the 24/7 composite rankings. That's a big deal. So moving on down the road, Buckeyes flipped 4-star offensive tackle Grant Toutant from Penn State. The Knits have had a rough week or two. They seemingly can't do anything right. So Toutant, 4-star from Michigan, by the way. So Penn State they lost another 4-star tackle today, which just set their message boards on fire.
I read some of those you sent me. Those guys are melting down, and rightly so.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that they're just getting tired of the BS from Franklin. I think the message is getting stale.
Franklin did better than anyone hoped that he would do in what he came into, me included. But it might be a little stale, and again, with the turnover and some of the stuff, he hit the lottery with what's-his-face, Barkley, who was a total stud.
Yeah.
And even this last kid that went, he was pretty damn good, too.
Oh, don't forget Trace McSorley. I mean, he was being...
I don't count him among anything. I think he sucks. And I don't talk about him. We don't talk about him in my house.
Okay. My point was that he was being recruited by other schools as a DB, as a safety, not a quarterback.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Yeah. So they struck gold.
I think his talent sucked, but I think he's a total gamer.
He's
a total gamer.
Tough
and
kid.
A good dude for sure.
But that only takes you so far. They got lucky with him, I think, and then their other quarterback transferred out, so they're in big trouble. And like I said, I think that people are just tired of the message, and Franklin doesn't have anything else to fall back on.
Well, they need to have a big year to right that ship. If they go like 7-5,
yeah,
they're in big trouble.
That's very possible.
If they can go 10-2, they can right that ship.
Yeah, maybe we'll get into some over/under season wins this episode and touch on that in more detail. But Buckeyes also got a commit from 5-star kicker Jake Seibert from Cincinnati. Definitely helps out the recruiting rankings when you got a 5-star kicker. Typically, those dudes are like 2 and 3 stars.
Yeah,
but he is the top ranked in the country.
Yeah, but he's still not ranked. Like on the composite, he drags that average down like a mofo.
Right. Yeah.
But who cares? If he's the best damn kicker, then that's who I want.
Exactly. So yeah, looking at the future in recruiting, we got crystal balls are coming in on 247 at corner and linebacker. I think it's just going to be a matter of being patient with the defensive side and recruiting. because we have an all-new defensive coaching staff. They need to get out there and establish relationships with the players and the parents, you know. So it's going to take some time, and really, they're going to need to see the results on the field, right? After last season, the parents and the players both want to see, you know, some improvement.
It's a whole new staff back there, right?
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. They're starting from square one, basically, on the
outside of Johnson.
Right.
Well, so I think you can still, you know, hold your own there on the D-line recruits. But yeah, if you're on the back end, you might want to wait and see. Okay, what's Ohio State's D going to be like? If it's like last year's, I don't want nothing to do with it.
Yeah, and that's the key, is you just got to show improvement, and obviously you're going to see a change in scheme, bringing in the new coordinator and stuff. So coordinators, plural, with Hafley and Madison sharing duties. So yeah, well, it'll take time, but I think the quality is going to come eventually. This will definitely be a top 5 recruiting class. I think once it's all said and done. Right now we're 8th. We're going to get a total of 24 to 25 total commits. If Ryan Day can close on Kendall Milton, the running back from California, that'll give us the number 2 quarterback in the class, number 3 running back, number 1 receiver, number 1 tackle, and number 1 center.
That wouldn't suck.
Yeah, and these numbers that Paris Johnson was putting up at camps are like top 10 NFL combine numbers.
Oh, yeah, I saw that.
So
that dude's a freak.
I think it's just a matter of time before he reaffirms his commitment and you know, shuts down all his visits. I don't know where else he could.
It's probably a matter of time before they take a look at the 3 years out of high school. Yeah, he's like a freaking such a beast. He could be like a one and done.
Yeah, he could. He's like 6'7". So that's all I got on the recruiting front. Anything else you want to touch on there?
Not really. Just that I'm not really worried about the D side of the ball, but I don't know. I kind of got spoiled after in the same class we brought in Akuda, Wade, and Sheffield.
Mm-hmm.
And the transfers, like, oh my gosh. And then we've gotten some great kids since then. Seven Banks, what's his name, Johnson,
yeah,
Mir Reap,
right,
Williamson. You know, those guys that are Williamson, Went,
yep.
You know, a bunch of dudes. Sorry for leaving anyone out. Who do we got in this year's class coming in?
Well, do
we have any in that
we
small
just have
class?
Legend Cavazos is the only 2020 guy. 2019.
No, 2019, did we get any corners?
No.
Yes, that concerns me.
Definitely.
And so, yeah, landing a couple of those kids, I think, would be key.
Yeah, definitely. So let's jump into, we'll call them the best 6 teams out of the conference and talk about their over-under season wins. These are posted by Bet Online right now. So let's run through 6 teams, and you give me the total wins you think they'll get in 2019. So let's start off with Sparty. What do you got?
Well, I was at poker last night. A bunch of Sparty guys. They're saying number 1 D in the country. No one can run on them. This and that. A bunch of people are returning. Lewerke's arm doesn't hurt. Sparty's fucking legit. And I call bullshit. And I think for Sparty, you're looking at 8.5.
Oh, that's aggressive. Let's try 7.
Yeah. Damn, I bought into the hype.
Yeah.
You could have talked me down to 7.
You had me when you said Lewerke's arm isn't hurting.
Yeah, but they do have a senior offensive line. They got Lewerke who's seen some game time, and they got some experience on D. They got a couple good receivers.
Yeah.
They don't have any running back that I know.
Yeah, I think they just had that one guy coming back.
And D'Antonio, he changed his whole coaching staff, but didn't bring anyone new in. Just flipped everybody's position.
Yeah.
You're the offensive coordinator now, and you're the DB's coach.
Jesus.
I root for Sparty. Go Sparty. But we'll see. But you know what? This is the type of team that D'Antonio could get that fire in the belly, and the type of team that could surprise you and go bust out a 10-2 year.
Yeah, I don't see that happening. I think we're watching the downward slide for D'Antonio.
I do too, but this is like last chance you.
Right.
His last couple classes have been garbage.
Right.
And right now he's actually got some good players when he's recruiting well, but they're all upperclassmen, receivers,
Right.
linemen. This is like his one chance to resurrect it, put together a really good season, and get that recruiting back up. Because if they go 7-5, they're done.
He needs those 3 stars to hit. A few of those. That's what he does so well. But yeah, I think he's out in 2
But
years.
7, who's got that? Who's the one? This guy.
This is Bet
7?
Online.
That'll put the chip on their shoulder.
Of course.
Antonio be
That's
all
what he
pissed
wants.
off about that.
The one team in the West I wanted to focus on was Nebraska. What do you think their over-under is?
What was their record last year?
Oh, shit, I don't know.
I mean, that Frost, this will be Frost's second year, right?
Right.
They got a quarterback that's decent. That's the shitty side.
Yeah.
But defensively, how are they going to do it? It's got to be there close to Sparty. What do you got?
They got their quarterback coming back, Martinez.
And they play that whole side. They play us, though. Who else they play in the crossover? Nebraska might be the little sleeper pick to win that side this year. If Frost can get those boys motivated, I'm gonna go with 8.5.
Oh, almost. That was very close. They got him at 8. All right, so yeah, you almost nailed it on Nebraska. Good job. Let's move on to Whiskey. Oh, that's the other team in the West I want to talk. What do you think?
Whiskey's always an overachiever. What did I get the quarterback coming back? It's not Hornibrook anymore, right? I don't know. Their line always seems to do well. But the Whiskey, I don't think Whiskey's for shit. I think Northwestern's a nice sleeper pick, and Northwestern might even be better than them.
So what was your over-under on Whiskey?
9.
Ooh, that's close. 8.5.
See, I'm a nice guy. I'm always high.
You would be Pamela Red.
All
right, let's go to Penn State. Keep in mind that their quarterback, Tommy Stevens, just transferred to Mississippi State.
I'll keep that in mind. When did they make all these? If Penn State's imploding. 7.
Ooh, 8.5. Same as Whiskey. What's that tell you about Whiskey?
Yeah, I feel like when did that come out, man? They haven't changed it yet.
No, these are currently running. You could go get these right now. I'm looking at them online right now.
Mm.
You think Whiskey over or under that? 8.5 under?
Whiskey might be okay. Penn State?
Penn State, you think under?
Penn State under.
Yeah, you think they go like 8-4? 7-5?
5.
Ooh, so you're talking like Sparty realm, because Sparty was at 7.
I think Penn State could very well be poised for garbage year.
I think so too, especially with a quarterback that has 0 experience.
And then playing teams like Purdue and Indiana, you're going to lose one of those that you shouldn't.
Yep, definitely. I think they got a tough schedule away. I think they got all the tough games are away, so that doesn't feel good. So yeah, 8.5 for Penn State. How about Team Up North? What do you got for Michigan?
Team Up North, they've got Notre Dame, Ohio State, Michigan State all at home.
Mm-hmm.
That sets up nice for them. I gotta think you gotta go 10.
9.5. Very close. So you think they get to 10, huh? You take the over there if you're putting money on it?
I mean, nice thing is they play Notre Dame early. Over the two most overhyped teams in history.
That's later, actually.
Then with USC watching from the sidelines is the third most. Maybe throwing Florida, most overhyped teams of fucking all time. Anyway,
they did lose to Florida in the bowl game.
What do you mean that's later?
Yeah, it's not early in the season.
Michigan Notre Dame's not?
No.
Like mid-season?
Yeah, I can give you the exact date here. Yeah, October 26th.
At large schedule.
So yeah, end of October. So yeah, that could go either way. They have the 9th toughest schedule in the country.
At 9.5, I'd take over on Michigan.
You would? They have the 9th toughest schedule in the country, dude. Even with those home games. They got Chris Evans suspended for all of 2019. Their running backs are walk-on True Wilson, Christian Turner, and some freshman Zach Charbonnet.
Charbonnet. Everyone's high on Charbonnet.
I'm sure.
It's like
it sounds like a wine.
Charbonnet. Yeah, but here's what they do have. They've got a very veteran O-line of like all quality dudes.
Sure.
And they're big. And I wouldn't be surprised to see 3 O-linemen get drafted.
I remember some of those guys in the O-line getting railed on by former Michigan players early in the year last year.
Well, they're all late. I mean, you look at them, they're all, 5th-year seniors, redshirt juniors, bunch of guys that have played a lot of football.
Yeah.
I don't know how deep it is, but the starting 5 are really good. Shea Patterson has got talent. He does. And then they've got some serious weapons on the outside. So I agree. They've got nothing at running back. And absolutely nothing.
And defensive side of the ball, they lost a lot.
If you can stretch an offense, I've been reading stuff up here. It's a whole new deal. They're going to be throwing. They're going to be running a lot of pace. So, you just get a kid that can run hard back there. Don't give people a time, because those young guys, the biggest problem is not running for yards and making plays. It's blocking. It's pass pro. They can't do it against college players. So, if they can set the offense up right. Don Brown lost a couple key guys on defense, but Don Brown's defense is going to be good. I mean, I can't see that it's not going to be. Again, I think it has some troubles. How aggressive it is when he matches up against a team with talent like Ohio State. But their D is going to be solid, and I think Michigan wins 10.
And finally, the good guys. The only team that matters in the Big Ten, the Buckeyes. What do you have the Buckeyes over under at?
Well, I mean, if I put Michigan at 10, I would have to go Buckeyes at 9.5. But I think I know this one. I think they're at like 10.5, right?
Who?
Or what is the latest?
You're picking. Wait, you got to tell me.
I'm going 9.5.
You got. I got to hire you first, guy. Ohio State 9.5.
Yeah.
Buckeyes are at 10, leading the Big Ten with 10. How do you like that over under? You take the under? You think they go 9-3?
No, but I mean it's a push. I think the push.
Push, yeah, that's doable too. That's fair.
But yeah, I think they could very easily go 9-3.
So they lose 2 games.
I'm taking the push. I'm going 10.
Right. So they lose 2 games. To who? Michigan and.
No, not to Michigan. Fuck that.
Okay. Still an underdog
but
there.
But potentially, I mean, right now they are.
Yeah.
No, I think they've got the talent to actually compete for all of it this year. But there's so many unknowns that they also could, go Luke Fickle-ish and, do some dumb games. Do some dumb shit. Mm-hmm. The potential's there.
What do you mean, like losing at Iowa or at Purdue? I haven't seen that happen ever.
Those types of things. No, but those are anomalies. You could do that 3 times a year or 4 times a year instead of just once.
Well, the Buckeyes have 17th toughest schedule in the country, which is a huge change from last year. Add in a first-year head coach and quarterback, 13 returning starters, only one returning starter on offensive line, a defense that last year allowed over 400 yards a game, over 26 points a game. They were the most penalized team last year. They gave up more penalty yards than J.K. Dobbins had rushing yards.
I know.
So, looking at the whole, all the teams we just talked about, doesn't it look like the Big Ten looks really weak? When you're talking about teams with 8, 8.5, 9.5 wins, and the best team in the conference is at 10.
No, because how many people are over 10? Clemson, Bama. This is not. Nobody likes giving you 10. There's no room for air. You go 10, 10.5. There's no room. The only one that's probably only 2 or 3 teams nationwide that have a better over than Ohio State.
But by your estimation, you had Michigan with a higher win total than Ohio State. You had Michigan at 10.
I think Michigan's more of a sure, good season than Ohio State is. I think we got more upside, but they're more of a sure thing to me in my mind right now.
I think the conference as a whole looks like crap.
Bottom line,
son of a...
I love how this season sets up. I think it's Ohio State, Michigan's conference.
Yeah.
They're the powerhouses.
Yeah.
They both will have landmines along the way, but that's going to be the game.
A lot of things can change. We do have a lot of things stacked against us that we need to get past, but like I mentioned, tough schedule, relatively. New coach, new quarterback, and we got to see some serious changes on the defense. And one returning starter on the O-line is one of my bigger concerns, honestly.
It's all talent that's on that O-line, but
just
unproven. But there's guys that have had some serious quality playing time too.
Yeah.
Transferring from Rutgers, okay.
Right.
Seen some serious football. What's his name was Bo, and some of these guys had played 6 games. Some of them got a couple starts late in the year in the bowl game. So I'm optimistic. I'm cautiously optimistic because they ain't played yet.
Right.
But I think we're going to be all right. They're huge, right? They're Buckeye road graders.
Mm-hmm. All right, so let's talk about some of the highlights from Ryan Day's most recent press conference last week. He didn't get into a lot of great detail because obviously there's not a lot going on. Coaches can't do much with the players. They're not even allowed to have a football out there or something. I don't know, some retarded.
This time of year is a great opportunity for coaches to practice coach speak, which is saying nothing.
Yep.
And he does it well.
Exactly. Yeah, it's a good time to work on that. Just as the players are in the workout facility, banging the weights around. Coach Mick is up their ass. So
you go to the Tiger Woods school. Course looks great.
Yeah.
Swing feels good. I like my chance.
Exactly. Yeah. So everybody works on their responses.
But that being said, I do like the way Ryan Day handles himself so far when I've seen him. That's a pretty straight shooter. He's got some charisma, and he has a humility to him. Yeah,
they say, from what I've heard, he's really good with the families on recruiting visits. He's really strong in that arena, and really hits home with the parents and stuff. So that's key, I think. Your position coach should be getting the player, and really the head coach should be getting the family on our side, right? So let's get into these quick nuggets Nugs. You like some nugs?
No.
When did they start calling them nugs, like chicken nugs? I don't know when that happened, but I hear people saying it a lot lately. So first off, we'll start off with the quarterback talk. Dave said it's really important for Justin Fields to spend time this summer throwing with the receivers on their own to get their timing down, obviously, because the coaches can't do anything with them until fall camp. Dave said he's done a good job so far and he's really working hard in the weight room. Bobby Carpenter on his radio show in Columbus actually touched on that as well. He said that Fields is ridiculously strong for a quarterback. He said that after Coach Mick got a hold of him, that the kid looks like a linebacker. So it's good to hear. In just a few
I hope
short
he still
months.
got range of motion on them shoulders, them big shoulders, boy.
Right. Well, you know Coach Mick works all angles. Probably got them in there doing yoga and shit.
I'm sure.
Day also said he liked Gunnar Hoke having experience playing in the SEC. He's from Columbus. He thinks that Gunnar Hoke will be able to pick up the offense quickly and is doing well so far. He's coming in, getting reps with the ones, Day says, and he's going to compete for the starting job. Bullshit.
Yeah.
Blowjob.
I'm not.
What do you think of that, Shawn? You think he's going to come in and compete for the starting job?
I think it's his to lose.
Okay. All right.
How could you not be yours to lose with a name like Gunnar Hoke?
Right. Yeah,
No, but I'm glad that they're high on him. The only thing that scares the shit out of me that he said that, and is there something about Fields that you don't like?
He highlighted the lack of experience on Fields' part. That's why he said Fields didn't win the starting job in spring, and he said the real competition starts in preseason.
Right, when I get to camp, and I'm all for that, but again, I don't know anything about Fields. I know everybody saw him in a documentary or something, but if this guy is overwhelmed and can't handle the playbook and things like that, then maybe we do have to take a reach.
From one former NFL scout I've heard talk about Justin Fields just recently, like this week, he said that the one negative that stuck out to him was accuracy on throwing. That was
we're used to that.
Well, yeah, but not after Haskins.
Not last year. Not last year.
Right. So that's just an NFL scout giving you a hard take, So, and that's why I think Day highlighted the fact that Fields needs to work with his receivers over the summer. Get that accuracy, timing, all that together. On the J.K. Dobbins, he had a quick little nugget. Day said that he's one of the guys that has to play good. He has to play good, especially in the first 6 games of the year. And that makes sense when you think about taking care of your quarterback and getting your quarterback comfortable until they can get a rhythm going offensively. They're going to pound them hard with the run game early on.
I hope so. And, I think with Weber out of the picture, you can get J.K., 250 to 300 runs?
Yeah, but you have to be concerned about overusing him early on in the first 6 weeks. They're going to have to spell him once in a while. Hopefully, Master Teague.
Well, I'm hoping the first 6 weeks you don't have to. I mean, again, I hate when you're in a shitty opponent unless they're just trying to figure out, hey, can this guy run 25 times?
Right.
Just kind of putting through the ringer in some of the early games, which I'm guessing they're probably doing. It's not as much about that. It's like, well, what can he take? How far can we push him? But yeah, I'm with you. I don't want to. I'm thinking I want to see him run 20 times a game against Michigan and Michigan State and those guys.
Right.
I want to see him run 15 times a game against Cincy. And I want Teague to have 10 and DeMario McCall to have 10.
And what goes hand in hand with the strong running game in the first 6 weeks is the offensive line, of course. They're going to have to gel together in preseason camp as well and come out the gates as a unit, ready week 1, if we're going to run the shit out of the ball first 6 weeks. Day had a quick little blurb about the O-line. He said, I have high hopes for the offensive line. He said that Thayer Mumford is looking really strong right now. You remember he sat out the entire spring with an injury. So that O-line's really going to need to come together early and maintain that the rest of the year in order to get that strong run game. And then when they do have to throw with Fields, give him the comfort he needs.
Oh, sure.
Had some interesting comments about the H-back position. I think he's touching on or hinting at kind of an evolution of the H-back away from what Urban Meyer always had that as like a small, fast guy,
right.
Like a Percy Harvin type. That's what they always called it, the Percy Harvin position. So now this is going to take on some different roles. He's saying it could be a third receiver that is considered that H-back. Could be a second running back, a la DeMario. Could be a second tight end, like a Jeremy Ruckert, based on their body type and the play they're calling. So you got guys like Jeremy Ruckert, Rashad Berry, DeMario McCall, KJ, C.J. Saunders, Jalen Gill. All these guys would be considered H-backs, which is way different from how Herb defined that role. What do you think? How do you like the sound of that?
I mean, yeah, you get creative. It's always evolving. That's why I think Dade's going to do so well. I think he's got a good football mind. And, figure out this, tweak that. You always got to change it up a little bit, right, to stay competitive. If the defenses and the players are too good anymore, if you're not changing and just keeping the same thing, people are going to catch up with you.
Yeah.
So I like that he's thinking outside the box. I don't know. I mean, what Herb did worked pretty well, but I love seeing. I can't wait to see McCall and
Jalen Gill.
Jalen Gill.
Yeah.
I mean,
give me more
in a couple
Jalen
years
Gill.
to Jalen Gill.
Yeah.
Let me see some of that.
Yeah, you give me less of C.J. Saunders.
Except on third down, I'll take C.J. Money Saunders, man. The guy just plays hard and is money.
Mm-hmm. So a quick touch on the defense. Day basically just said that the linebacker competition is still unsettled, and he said everybody's still battling. So.
Yeah, but I've listened to a couple of those other coaches' interviews, and it seems like anytime I hear them talk about linebackers, they all love them some my boy Pete Werner.
They do.
Pete Werner's going to still be a big part of this defense, and you know what? I think he can do it. He's going to have, a more clear understanding of what he can do. But Pete Werner's a football player.
He took quite a bit of flack from Buckeye fans last year. I'm not sure why. He's not slow.
Out of position, getting eat up some time inside and lost on some plays. But again, maybe that's some of that scheme.
Right. And just being his first year playing, I'm sure he probably wasn't in position where he should have been.
Oh, I'm sure there was instances.
So, Day also got into the transfer portal. He said it's a complicated issue. There are parts of it that he understands, looking at it from a player's point of view, and then there are other parts that make him very nervous as far as from the big picture where college football is headed with this constant transferring. Last item from Day.
I just but that saying from Day, that to me was his first that was some true coach speak bullshit. Yeah, it's confusing. No one really understands it. I get where they're coming from. But I'm a little worried. A little bit of everything, a little bit of something for everybody on that.
Yeah, because
statement.
you don't want to come across as not player focused, because
Right?
that ruins you. And you also want to be cautious with, saying, yeah, it's let's everybody transfer. So, yeah, you gotta walk a fine line there, and he's smart enough to know how to do that. His last item was, he said that he would, in a perfect world, or in his point of view, he would limit transfers to 2 per school. Even though the Buckeyes brought in 3 this year, he said he would
4.
limit it. Was it 4?
We brought in 3. We brought in 3 quarterbacks.
Well, one's a walk-on. That one didn't count. So, either way, though, I mean, that's just his opinion. Limiting it to 2 per year, I don't know if it really matters. Once you start transferring guys, what's the difference? I mean, I know it's free agency, kind of, but what's the difference between 2 or 4 or 8?
Yeah, I think maybe you limit it to 2 per player, but the first one has to be your freshman year.
Yeah.
No matter what, and then if you miss that year and don't transfer, then you've got 1 transfer left.
I think you just give them 1. Just give them 1 free transfer where they don't have to sit out a year. Kind of like grad transfers can transfer out. But just give every player 1, and that's it. You get the 1, but if you can't make that work, then tough shit. You have to sit out a year. You can still transfer. You just have to sit out until you graduate.
Yeah, but you're going to have to slick dick lawyers and say, look, the kid signed up with Clemson, and it's freshman year, and they got Joe McFucking everything quarterback. He's never going to play.
Right.
So he transfers out and transfers to Oklahoma. And then Oklahoma gets the next coming of Joe stud quarterback. And now you're a stud quarterback and is never even really getting a chance. As long as it's your freshman year, I'd maybe look at giving them another chance later in their college career.
Okay.
But I don't think I'd ever let it to be back-to-back years.
Yeah.
Like, once you make the 1 jump, you got to stay there a couple years.
Right. It just seems like you're opening a Pandora's box when you give them multiple transfers.
Oh, fuck. Like, that box isn't blown wide the fuck open already.
Well, the NCAA has put themselves in this position by approving everybody and their brother just because assistant coach left, They put themselves in this position. I'm all for player mobility and player rights, and fuck all the administrators that are just making money off of the backs of these kids. But the NCAA I don't think they really thought this plan through.
Bunch of Don King's promoters. Give me that money.
All right, Buckeye fans, thank you for joining us tonight. That is the show. I think we covered everything we needed to cover. Don't forget to visit the BuckeyeCast.com. Check out the supply store for your needs and desires. We have it all. Don't forget
supplies, y'all.
Yeah, and we always have our sponsor, Dawson Warwick Agency. Please check them out at DawsonWarwick.com for all your small business marketing needs.
Lost our Little League tournament game, man.
Oh.
Tough game.
Did you get ice cream afterwards at least?
No. You lose. Hey, that's not the way we roll.
Yeah.
Not everybody gets a trophy. Lose, go home.
All right.
Win, go to the ice cream store.
Nice. What about suicide? You get suicides?
Yeah, well, it was the last game. Usually the coach makes them do polls. Poll to poll. To poll to poll.
That's rude.
Yeah, they hate it. I love it.
All right. Well, that's the show, folks. Like I said, please visit the TBC supply store at thebuckeyecast.com and check us out. And don't forget that promo code TBCSS20 to save 20% off your order. And we will hit you back probably after the Big Ten Media Days coming up in July. Nothing ever happens at those, right? Nothing I can remember.
Scandals.
So it should be quiet. And, hopefully it's not the downfall of another head coach. And
unless it's Tom Herman.
Yeah. Or another media member trying to make a name for himself on some obscure network.
Isn't that wild, man, how the cookie crumbles. If that doesn't happen, you realize Urban Meyer's our coach for at least 3 more years.
Oh, yeah. Yep. Yeah, McTurd got what he wanted. So they, too bad they didn't know you're going to be our coach for the next 30 years. You got like 7 fucking championships. I'll take it. That's a fair trade. Trade a legend for a legend. Like one off the other.
It's going to be like 10 years from now. We're going to be talking to Herb, and everyone's going to be like, oh, Herb, you're so great. And he's like, yeah, but Ryan Day's better.
Yep. Could be.
Maybe.
Dawn of a new era and a new legend. But that's it, folks. We'll come back to you after media days and before the season and fall camp opens up. Thank you, Shawn, for joining me.
My pleasure.
Have a good summer.